on the clerk to help me out with some of this stuff.
We can see you fine, Mayor, and I believe we do have a quorum currently.
Okay, well, if we're ready to get started, I would like to call our regular board meeting to order at 7:30. I'm located in the Village Chambers at 2350 South 25th Avenue. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Today is November 2nd, 2020. Roll call. Trustee Jones? Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Here.
Trustee Abraham?
Here.
Trustee Senior?
Here.
Trustee Tierney?
Here.
Trustee Miller?
Here.
And Madam President, we do have a quorum. Can we all please sit or stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you all. Can we please have a moment of silence? Okay, thank you. Item 2 is public comment. I'll read this disclaimer. While the public meeting is open to the public and public comments are welcomed, in light of concerns related to the spread of coronavirus disease, COVID-19, the meeting will be live streaming online, and the village strongly encourages residents and participants to submit written comments to the village clerk prior to the meeting. Persons will be allowed to make in-person comments if they so desire. However, individuals will be brought into the meeting room one at a time, and all federal, state, and local protocols currently in place to alleviate the spread of COVID-19, including social distancing requirements, will be observed. At this time, Madam President, I have not received any public comments via email. Do you have anyone physically present in the chambers?
No.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Next item, 3, communications. The following are, give me 1 second, I'll put on the screen to share with all. The following are polling place locations for the Village of Broadview for the election tomorrow. Precinct 5 is Roosevelt School, located at 1927 South 15th Avenue. Precincts 33 and 38 are right here at Broadview Village Hall, 2350 South 25th Avenue. Precinct 34 is at Schroeder Park, 2600 South 13th Avenue. Precinct 79 is located at the Broadview Public Library, 2226 South 16th Avenue. And finally, Precinct 81 over at the Beverly Center, 3031 South 25th Avenue. As always, polls open at 6 a.m. and they close at 7 p.m. Social distancing precautions will be in place, and all voters entering the building must wear a mask while inside the polling place. Did you have anything to add to that, Mayor?
No.
Okay, that concludes item 3. Item 4, motion to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the May 4th, 2020 regular board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I got Trustee Senior motioning
Yes.
Second.
and seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
No questions.
Trustee Tierney?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, ma'am. Trustee Jones? Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham? Trustee Abraham? I think Trustee Abraham may have disappeared, so we're going to mark Trustee Abraham absent. Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And that carries to pass the bill 4-0. Thank you. I'm sorry, pass the minutes from May 4th. Next item, minutes from the October 19th, 2020 regular board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Been properly motioned by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Miller. Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
Clerk McGrail, when will we get the revised minutes for October 5th?
I can make sure I send that out to you immediately.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney?
I have nothing.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Abraham?
Sorry about getting disconnected. No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Jones? Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all. Okay, item 5, consideration to approve expenditures. Grand total of all funds, $654,173.21.
Motion to
Motion to
approve.
approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, Chairwoman of the Finance Committee, will you please read the warrant list?
Yes, Madam Mayor. All right, the AP warrant list for October 28, 2020. First vendor is AT&T, $17,669.66. B&F Construction Code Services, $5,851.68. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, $134,035.19. Edwin Hancock Engineering, $54,596.30. Geno's Heating and Plumbing, $6,951. Grasso Graphics Incorporated, $3,450.23. Group Incorporated, $13,551.16. J. Narduli Concrete Incorporated, $317,098.34. Lincoln National Life Insurance, $7,386.10. Mecca Tree Service Incorporated, $16,520. Petroleum Technologies Equipment, $3,489. Russo's Power Equipment Incorporated, $2,698.98. West Cook County Solid Waste Agency, $26,975.29. Zena Redondo, $7,500. Total expenditures over $2,500 is $617,772.93. Our total expenditures is $654,173.21 for a percentage of total of 94%. To the funds, the general fund, $233,276.02. Garbage fund, $40,526.45. CDBG fund, $317,098.34. Our 17th Avenue TIF North, $1,726. Our capital projects fund, $54,024.30. Our water and sewage fund, $7,522.10. The grand total is $654,173.21. That's the total amount of total checks to be issued. End of my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
You know,
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call?
Madam President, can we let the record reflect that trustee Jones did arrive to the meeting at 7:38 p.m.?
Okay.
Thank you. So noted. Roll call. Trustee Jones.
No.
Trustee Horn.
yes.
Trustee Abraham.
Yes.
Trustee Senior.
Yes.
Trustee Tierney.
Yes.
And Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Madam President, it carries 5-1 to pay the bills. Thank you all. Next item. Item 6, village officer reports, we have none. Item 7, old business, we have none. Item 8, new business. A motion to authorize the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to begin the testing process to establish an updated promotional register for lieutenant and sergeant for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois Police Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Properly motion by trustee Tierney, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you. Chief Uglin, would you like to tell us about the promotion of the lieutenant and the sergeant that's upcoming?
Yeah, this is, the current list will be expiring within a month. So what we're asking is to get the process going, because this could take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to have the list finalized. So we're asking to have the sergeants and the lieutenants list of the process started.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Jones?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No question.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
Just for clarity, is this just to update the list, or is there a promotion or a change in personnel going on?
Now, this is just to update the list. There's no openings at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Jones,
Aye.
trustee Horn,
Yes.
trustee Abraham,
Yes.
trustee Senior,
Yes.
trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
and Madam President, this carries 6-0 unanimously. Thank you all.
Thank
All right. Item B, a motion to authorize the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to proceed with hiring a firefighter paramedic to fill the vacancy left by the resignation of Kyle Piotrowski for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois Fire Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Okay, I got trustee Horn motioning. Who made the second, please?
Jones.
Second by trustee Jones. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. Chief Kenny, you want to tell us about the hiring and the resignation?
Sure. This is Kyle Piotrowski. He started with us 2 weeks ago. He did a total of 3 days. And as I've told the mayor in the past, if somebody comes on board, they do have to sign a sheet that was established, I'm going to say about 15 years ago. Trustee Tierney can back me up on that one. That if they leave under 3 years, they have to pay back everything that was either purchased or the schooling that was provided for him. So he did do that. So he is gone. And we do need to hire someone else to replace him.
Thank you. Trustee Jones?
No comment or question.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
Nothing.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney?
No comment.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No comment.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Jones,
Aye.
trustee Horn,
Yes.
trustee Abraham,
Yes.
trustee Senior,
Yes.
trustee Tierney,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
and Madam President, this carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next item C, a resolution authorizing and approving a certain master services agreement and sales order with Comcast Cable Communications Management, LLC, regarding communication services for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve.
Second.
A properly motion by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Horn. Madam President.
Thank you. Do we have a rep from Comcast on the line?
Yeah, Lucas is on the line. I also have my manager, Sean Whiteside, and engineer, Trey Ritter, if there's any questions.
Okay, thank you. So just to brief the trustees on this piece of legislation as it relates to Comcast. So for many years, the village have been under the agreement with Windstrom. And so we've done some assessments and some data analysis on what would be the best fit cost effective for the Village of Broadview. So I'm going to yield it to Administrator Jones to go over what the results were in the findings and what bring us to this Comcast agreement tonight. Ms. Jones?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Since 2015, the Village of Broadview has received telephone service from Windstream. Windstream provided service to Village Hall, the Fire Department, and Public Works Department. Over the past 3 years, Windstream has provided poor customer service and many days offline. If the village changes their telephone service to Comcast Business, we will receive Ethernet, Internet, phone service with fiber connection. This service will provide upgrade benefits with faster Internet connection, local customer service, and updating technology. Per the cost of the company, Windstream, we pay per month $3,582.90, which times 12 for a year, we're paying out $42,994.80. By switching over to Comcast, we'll be paying a monthly fee decrease of $2,917.70, which for yearly times 12 will be $35,012.40. A monthly cost savings of $665.20, a total yearly savings of $7,982.40. Based on the monthly savings, I propose to change the telephone service to Comcast Business. The Village of Broadview will receive updated Ethernet, Internet, and telephone service with fiber connection. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Jones?
No question.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
I assume it just applies across the board to the police.
Well, police is a different phone line, so that's through AT&T because of the confidentiality that they have with the 911 and the Ike Center. So we couldn't combine it all together. So that's why we still have the two, and the police prefer to go with AT&T, which we still getting the cost savings with AT&T as well. Any other questions?
Looks like she froze up.
Trustee Horn? Okay, Trustee Tierney?
No questions, just a comment. Thanks, Mr. Jones, for working on that and getting this taken care of. It's quite a bit of a savings.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
No, I have no questions, but you did a very good job explaining that. That was real good.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No, and again, thank you to our village administrator, Ms. Latisa. Very well put together presentation for us to understand the savings and what the other costs were involved in it. So thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
she did a good job.
Trustee Miller?
So, yeah, no issues with us having a discussion on switching over. I would like the background information on our prior or current company so that I can see those figures as well. It wasn't provided in the docket, but the information for Comcast is provided. I do have a couple requests. Can we see if there's anything that we can do to work out this activation fee as well as the installation charges? Bringing that to almost over $1,000 seems like something that we should be able to kind of work out an agreement with Comcast for. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, so we have Comcast reps on the line. Lucas or the manager, did you want to address Trustee Miller's request?
Sure. Thank you for having me at the board meeting tonight. I'm looking forward to, being a point person on the Village of Broadview account. As far as the installation fees go, that covers the programming, full installation package, testing, and turn up of the circuit. So, it's actually an extremely competitive price when you look at what that would cost to install, configure, test, and turn up.
Any other questions, Trustee Miller?
Yeah, so truthfully, it really, that I don't think it be resolved right here on this phone call or this conversation. That kind of was directed toward the administrator, Mrs. Jones, to see if there was something that maybe we can discuss offline with the company.
Sure.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Jones,
Aye.
Trustee Horn,
Yes.
Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Tierney,
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
I'm gonna say yes for now.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. And Madam President, this too carries 6-0 unanimously. Thank you.
Okay, and then Ms. Jones, can you just make sure that you have a dialogue with Trustee Miller as it relates to the paperwork? And if you don't mind, can you email them the memo that was sent to me? Email that to all of the trustees?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Shall we proceed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next is item D, a resolution authorizing execution of the federal fiscal year 2020 certifications and assurances for FTA assistance programs for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been properly motioned by Trustee Senior, seconded by Trustee Tierney. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. Mr. Hood, would you like to explain this resolution to the trustees? I don't know if he's on the call. I can't see who's on.
There I am. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And are we talking? Could you repeat that question again? Explain.
We're on the resolution for the federal fiscal year 2020 certifications and assurance for the FTA assistance programs for the village.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one.
Okay, so the purpose of this resolution is to authorize the execution of the federal fiscal year 2020 certifications and assurance for the FTA assistance programs for the village of Broadview. Is Mr. Reedy or Attorney Vasali on the line?
Yeah, I'm on, Mayor.
Okay, will you explain the FTA assistant programs?
Yes, if you give me 1 second, I'm just pulling it up, Mayor. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with the internet, but if you give me 1 second, I will be on there. And I am sorry I am not in the boardroom tonight.
No, that's okay. So just so you all know, this is the receipt for the federal assistance under 49 USC Chapter 53, which must be submitted annually as part of its application for federal assistance and certain certifications and assurance required by the Federal Transit Administration for its programs.
And it is a necessary requirement for a grant for funding for transportation uses.
For the PACE bus.
Yes.
So this is for our program for the PACE bus.
And it's a standard thing. Most municipalities do it. I believe we've done it in the past.
We do it every year. So
yeah.
I don't know. You want to explain what it is for the PACE bus?
Well, we have a PACE bus service that runs throughout and provides transportation services for village residents. We have done it in the past. We do it every year, as the mayor pointed out. Excuse me, I apologize. And so I see no problem with the passage of this, as we have passed it in the past. And it is a standard. It's almost perfunctory that we do it. If we could probably pass one and have it cover multiple years, we would do it that way. This just allows for the authorization and execution of all necessary documents for the same.
Okay, so just so the trustees know, the PACE service bus that we use for our seniors and those with disabilities to run the operation of the bus system that we have in town throughout the Proviso Township, we pay $100 a month. So it's about a $1,200 cost annually, but the bus is provided basically free to us with the requirements of this federal assistance under this Chapter 49, Chapter 53. And that's what this resolution is about, the PACE bus. And for us to, I guess we do it annually. I know I've seen it for the last couple of years that I've been here for the PACE bus. So if you want more information on the PACE bus and how that operates, I'll entertain questions or comments. Trustee Horn?
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Jones?
Nothing.
Trustee Tierney?
You're on mute.
I can't see.
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
Now, I don't have any questions, but I have a comment. I have two people that live on my block that use that service.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions, but just for clarity, it just seems like it I get it that it's a transportation agreement, but some of the lingo in it is like very, very detailed. And right now it seems like we're kind of just being thrown this one. I'm not sure when the last time the agreement was approved, but if I can have that information and as well as a copy of the previous agreement, that would be great.
Okay.
Madam President?
Then request is, sorry.
I'm sorry, if I could have the floor. On June 17th, 2019, Resolution 2019-30, I can send a copy out to all the trustees. This is the last time that we did pass this.
Okay, just make sure the trustees get it as requested, Mr. Clerk. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I will do that.
Thank you. Okay, a roll call, please. Well, we already did that.
No.
We need a roll call.
Okay, roll call. Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And this carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you. Next item, E, an ordinance providing for the issue of not to exceed $1,050,000 general obligation limited tax bond, Series 2020 of the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois, and for the levy of a direct annual tax to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Been properly motioned by Trustee Tierney, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Last week we had a public hearing as it relates to the general obligation limited tax bond series 2020 in the amount of $1,050,000. I know Mr. Reedy may be on the line, or Tom Hood could go into more details as it relates to these bonds. So,
Madam Mayor, this is Tom Reedy. I am on the line to answer any questions, and if you'd like, I can give a brief overview similar to what I provided at the BINA hearing.
yes, can you please give a brief overview, and then we'll direct it to the trustees if they have any questions or comments for you.
Sure. So this is the annual, what we call the rollover bonds. They're limited tax bonds that the village issues each year. In this approximate amount, last year's final issuance amount was $1,020,000. We've got a not to exceed amount of $1,050,000. I would expect the final par amount to be slightly below that $1,050,000 number, but it is standard practice to provide for the parameters slightly wider than necessary. So these bonds primarily are used to pay debt service on the village's outstanding 2003 bonds, 2015 bonds, and 2018 bonds. The 2015 bonds were a refunding issue of a second 2003 issue, and then the 2018 bonds, of course, provided much of the funding for the renovation and expansion of the village's village hall. So at the time of the issuance of each of those alternate revenue bonds, as they were issued at the time, the village covenanted to issue bonds on an short-term bonds on an annual basis to provide the revenue source to pay those bonds. So with this issue, we will be retiring about $640,000 of outstanding debt that's coming due on December 1st of this year. And then there will be some interest payments provided for and a small amount available for capital projects within the village. So with that, Mayor, unless there's anything else you wanted me to address, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Trustee Jones?
Oh, I have no questions.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
Yes, I have a few questions. Mr. Reedy or Mr. Hood, what's the current interest rate on the previous bond from 2018?
Well, the most recent was the 2019 bonds were issued with an interest rate of 2%. And interest rates have come down since that point in time a year ago. So I would expect the interest rate to be lower than that 2%, although we won't know the exact amount or the exact rate until we get out into the market to set the rate.
Okay. I need to clear up some things between what's actually written in the legislation versus what Mr. Reedy said. $640,000 or approximately $640,000 according to Mr. Reedy is going to be used for outstanding debt obligations. Within the legislation, it reflects that $944,000 is going to be used to pay off the general obligation bond from 2019, I believe.
Well, we're not paying the 2019 bonds. We're providing debt. The proceeds are providing the funds to pay debt service on bonds from 2003, 2015, and 2018. Now 600, and I can give you the 645,000 of that. Well, there's a 2003A, there's a $40,000 payment. And then 2015A, there's $605,000 principal maturity. The remaining funds that make up that $944,025, that accounts for interest expense that's due on those three outstanding issues that I mentioned. So the total principal amount that's being paid off and retired is about 640,000. The remaining amount that gets us up to 944,000 also accounts for roughly $300,000 in interest that's also payable.
Okay, and then the remaining balance of approximately $100,000 is going to be used for capital projects, etc.
Correct.
So in summary, not in summary, I'm sorry, Mr. Hood, can you identify for me which line item on the current budget reflects the general obligation capital depreciation bonds? If you're talking, you're on mute.
I don't even know if he's on the phone.
It says his name he says it's there.
Oh, okay. I can't see.
Mr. Hood, are you talking?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right. Yeah, the principal and interest payments are identified in the Fund 30.
And that's reflected as Fund 30 on the current budget?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then once we allocate these funds or we realize these funds from the bond, then it's going to negate the deficit balance that's reflected on the budget?
Are you referring to the general fund budget?
Yes.
Yeah, the debt service fund is a completely different fund.
Okay, so will it or will it not negate the the deficit amount that's reflected on the general fund budget?
No, they're not really related.
Okay, so after we realize these bonds or the funds from these bonds, the current budget is still going to have a deficit amount?
It does as passed. Mayor, do you want me to go into what we're doing?
Yes, please. I need to know.
Yeah.
You're not the mayor.
I'm not. I need to understand how we're spending the money. Please proceed, Mr. Hood. Remember, I have the floor, Mayor. I have the floor, Mayor. I have the floor, Mayor. Thank you. I have the floor, Mayor. Mr. Hood, can you please finish explaining to me how we're going to allocate the funds?
Mr. Hood, she is not the mayor.
I have the floor, Mayor.
You may have the
You
floor.
have to pay. You still have to play by the same rules, Mayor. Please.
Absolutely.
Mr. Hood, can you please finish speaking?
Point of order, you're not the mayor.
Mr. Hood, can you please finish speaking?
Mr. Hood, she's not the mayor.
Got you. You're really talking about two different things. I mean, they're not related.
Okay. So my point is that even after realizing the funds from these bonds, the current budget is going to remain as is.
Until further action is taken, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that all, Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney?
I have no comment.
Trustee Senior?
Comment.
Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
You're
We can't hear
Sorry, yes, we can, Madam President. Roll call. Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is item 9, application for the authority to expend funds totaling $4,114 for Ferguson Facility Supply.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The property motion by Trustee Tierney, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President.
Hi, thank you. This is a purchase order from the Public Works Department as it relates to disinfectant for the village facilities. Director Ames, are you on the line?
I am, Mayor, and you're absolutely correct. It's just a disinfectant and it's being purchased as part of the CARES Act. So part of our PPEs and maintaining a clean and healthy facility down at Public Works.
Thank you. Trustee Jones?
I have no question.
Trustee Horn?
Nothing.
Thank you. Trustee Tierney?
Yes, Director Ames, will the other departments be able to use this if they have an issue?
Well, that all depends on whether or not they're willing to pay our leasing fee.
Yeah, I'm sure, right?
Of course, we're going to assist.
But it's available to them if they need it.
That's right. We got mutual aid, Trustee
Okay.
Tierney. We got mutual aid for everybody.
Good, okay.
Trustee
That's all I
Senior?
had.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
I'm glad you guys are getting that. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
This is just a one-time purchase, except for the fact that you'll have to restock, correct?
That's correct. The solution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Jones?
Aye.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries unanimously to pay the Ferguson Facility Supply PETA. All right. Next is item 10, Village Clerk. Madam President, not to be redundant, but I would like to share screen again and bring up the documents that we spoke about earlier, and that is the information regarding the polling places. So again, the following are polling place locations for the Village of Broadview: Precinct 5, Roosevelt School over at 1927 South 15th Avenue. Precincts 33 and 38 are at Broadview Village Hall, 2350 South 25th Avenue. Precinct 34 is at Schroeder Park, 2600 South 13th Avenue. Precinct 79 is at the Broadview Public Library, located 2226 South 16th Avenue. And Precinct 81 at the Beverly Center, 3031 South 25th Avenue. Again, as always, polls open at 6 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. Social distancing precautions will be in place, and all voters entering the building must wear a mask while inside the polling place. Madam President, this does complete my report.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next is item 11, Village President, Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Thank you. Good evening, residents and all that's participating online and village trustees. Just a few updates. If seniors or those with a disability need a ride tomorrow to vote, they can call the Village Hall 708 State 13600 extension 259 and ask for a ride to the polls between 9 and 3 o'clock tomorrow. So we've been promoting this for the last couple of weeks for the seniors to take advantage of it, and we've had a couple of seniors take advantage of early voting, so I'm happy about that. 9 students of Triton College will receive the Mayor Katrina Thompson Scholarship Award in the amounts from $250 to $500. So I just want to say congratulations to all of the recipients of the scholarship. Cynthia Palacio, Claudia Torres, Jessica Henry, Jonas Garza, Robert Hurd, Mia Hurd, Andrea Segovia, Sylvia Ellis, and Marquise Summerlin will all receive a scholarship to continue their education over at Triton College. So congratulations to all. I would like to thank Cook County Commissioner Brandon Johnson. Today I received an email stating that we're going to get an additional $12,000 for the coronavirus relief funds from the county. So that's an additional $12,000 that will be coming to the village of Broadview to assist with the coronavirus. I would also like to thank Cook County Board President Tony Pomwinkle for my appointment to the Cook County Land Bank Board of Directors. The land bank works to reduce and return vacant land and abandoned buildings back into reliable and sustainable community assets. So a couple of, maybe last year or the year before last, we had entertained an opportunity with, the lights are going off in here, to entertain the land bank to recoup some of our vacant buildings that we had on Roosevelt Road, and it's been quite successful. So I'm honored and privileged that the president of the county would consider me to be on this important board for the county. And finally, I would like to just talk about the COVID numbers. As of today's date, we have 322 confirmed cases. That's an 8.33% change in the confirmed cases in the past 14 days. As we approach the holidays, and you're going to continuously hear me speak about this because it's very, very serious. As we approach the holidays, please remember to be safe, stay away from large gatherings. We will continue our efforts to contain the spread of COVID-19 in the village, assist and educate local businesses during these unprecedented times, and most importantly, ensure that we will take all steps available to protect the health and safety of the residents of the village of Broadview. So we know that we're coming up against the holidays, and most families like to get together and spend time together, but use some cautions and precautions like taking temperatures when loved ones come over to your house, or just avoid it altogether. Now I know that's kind of hard to even think about not spending time with your family, but the virus is spreading, and we are in Region 10 and our numbers are inclining, and I support the efforts of our governor as he give out these daily reports via Facebook Live. So we've been sharing it on the village page so that everyone can be abreast of what's taking place at the state level, but we are following all local and state protocols as well as the CDC requirements as it relates to the COVID-19. And actually, when we vote in person tomorrow, we have safety mechanisms in place to ensure that those that's working the polls on the inside, that they're protected, and then those that's visiting to come in and vote. So we will be sanitizing the room frequently. There may be a wait time to vote because we can only allow so many people in at one time. And I'm told that even in the village hall, we have at least 10 workers that's going to be working in this building all day long on tomorrow. So just be patient with all of the polls. If you have not voted, it's going to require some patience tomorrow because we are in a pandemic, and it's going to take a little bit longer to get in the room, and you won't be able to come in and sit down and wait for actual polling to cast your vote. So just be patient as we go through this. Last week, we did break ground on our senior veteran housing, so I'm excited about that, and the community is excited about that. So be looking for more information as it get closer. They're going to launch a website where you can get all the information as it relates to how you apply for the senior veteran housing, what's the income criteria. That'll be on the website. Once they launch the website, we will have that link on our village website to make it easy for those that would like to have an opportunity to live in this 70-unit, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom housing facility that's going to be located right here in Broadview. So with that being said, I just want to say God bless you. Good night. The Halloween activities over the weekend, I think they went fairly well. The kids were happy, and it was a nice day. So good night. God bless you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
I heard Trustee Terry make the motion and Trustee Abraham make the second. We'll do a roll call. Trustee Jones? Trustee Jones is absent. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Tierney?
Yes.
And Trustee Miller?
Yeah.
Thank you all. This meeting is hereby adjourned at 8:14 p.m. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mayor.
Good night.
Good night.